I'm not going to comment on speculation on that. But
Chancellor, it's not speculation. It's our viewers asking the Chancellor, who knows exactly what you're going to do, what you are going to do. It's not speculation. So let me put it this way. You're now 7 months in, and actually there are an awful lot of things that you're now saying, well, yes, we have to get on, we have to go further and faster. Were you too slow?
Rachel Reeves, the UK's Chancellor, just got completely exposed on live television. The BBC interviewer didn't hold back, hitting her with hard-hitting facts. When Reeves realized she had no way out, her reaction was absolutely priceless. She stammered and tried to dodge, but the facts were right there in front of her, and this time there was no escape.
Now, I've read that report, as I'm sure others have, and nowhere in that report, nowhere, does it mention £22 billion. It's not there at all. In fact, the only reference they have to a number is to be found on page 2 and in table 1, and even the Treasury, straining every sinew, could only find numbers that added up to 9.5, and even there, the OBR says, and I quote, "It is not possible to judge how much of that might actually have been realised." So when the Chancellor said there is a £22 billion black hole, the OBR report yesterday now proves that was simply untrue. So will she come here and apologise?
The backlash is exploding. People are calling this the worst interview of her career. Some are even saying this proves that she's a disaster for the UK economy. So what exactly happened in this brutal BBC interview, and why is this moment sending shockwaves through UK politics? Stay with us, because the details will leave you stunned. It started off like any other political interview. Rachel Reeves was invited on to BBC to discuss Labour's economic policies, expecting a typical round of questions, but what she didn't expect was a journalist who came prepared with the receipts, cold hard facts that completely undermined everything she had been saying. The first few minutes smooth standard talking points, but then boom, the journalist switched gears. The question came fast and unexpected. How do you explain the fact that under your leadership inflation is still squeezing working families, businesses are shutting down, and economic growth is at a standstill? Rachel Reeves' face changed in an instant. She blinked, she hesitated, and then she tried to deflect, but this interviewer wasn't playing games. When Reeves tried to shift blame, talking about how global challenges were to blame for the economic crisis, the journalist shut her down. You promised economic stability, yet we're seeing record-high borrowing, businesses struggling, and no clear recovery plan. How is that not a failure of your policies? Reeves tried to laugh it off, but her nervous chuckle only made things worse. The journalist pressed on, reading out direct statements she had made just months ago, statements that completely contradicted what she was saying now, and the look on Reeves' face, she knew she was caught. This isn't just about one bad interview. This is a pattern. For months, Labour has been struggling to convince the public that they have control over the economy, but every time Reeves speaks, confidence drops. Rising inflation, high taxes, failing policies. Her track record is starting to look like a disaster. She was asked to explain how she plans to fix the current economic crisis. Scumbled. For an answer, she mumbled something about long-term solutions and working with international partners, but the journalist wasn't having it. With all due respect, Chancellor, the people don't want vague promises, they want real answers. What specific policies have you implemented that have had a positive effect? That was the moment when Rachel Reeves completely froze. She sat there unable to give a straight answer, and in that silence the damage was done. Now the internet is on fire. Clips from the interview are going viral with people in Reeves' disastrous performance. Critics are calling it one of the most embarrassing interviews in recent political history. Social media is flooded with reactions, and the comments are absolutely brutal. She had nothing, no answers, just empty words. How is she in charge of the UK economy when she can't even handle a simple interview? This is a disaster for Labour. If they think this is leadership, they're in trouble. Opposition leaders are already jumping on this moment. Some are calling for Reeves to resign, saying she has completely failed in her role as Chancellor. Others are using this interview as proof that Labour is not fit to run the country.